Weapon leveling is that one thing every single year, especially at the beginning of the year, that seems like such a mountain to climb. Black Ops 6 is no exception. In fact, it may feel like this actually takes much longer to level your weapons this year. So sure, while it's not intended to be conquered or finished on day one or weekend one, and recognizing that yes, we have a whole year to work on these weapons, if you're a grinder, if you're trying to get weapons leveled for the upcoming Warzone integration, how can you expedite this process? How can you make the best of your time and use the most efficient methods to rank up your weapons? Well, that's what we're here to discuss today. In this, I'll give you my findings of personal testing and some recommendations for what I'd consider the fastest ways to level your weapons. Let me know your thoughts as we go along. If you have anything you'd like to add to this list, feel free to. We're all here for the same reasons, to rank up our weapons as fast as possible to save us a little bit of time. So if you want to, feel free to drop it in the comments. But if you enjoy the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. Of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all things Black Ops 6. We've still got so much up on deck that you guys will not want to miss. So if you'd like to join the community and join us on that road to 600,000 subscribers, I'd love to have you. But for now, let's get into how to best level your weapons. So in the past years, we've seen that there are good ways for both multiplayer and zombies, right? How do they compare to prior years this year, if they can compare at all? Is one better than the other? Well, let's start out firstly with multiplayer. Obviously, what you want to do is gain as much score as possible. So naturally, you want to use your weapons. You want to make sure you're getting as many kills as possible, as many assists as possible, but you can also kit your builds out so that you get additional bonus XP that makes your life easier, compounding and giving as much XP as possible. For these, I'd recommend any combination of the following stuff that I have found just to work incredibly well. The Scrambler scrambles your HUD and radar, this field upgrade. It's great for all modes, but the cool part is that if you go into hardcore or hardcore face-off even, you of course don't have a HUD, and in hardcore face-off you don't have streaks obviously, so you don't really even notice that it's there. Like, you're not calling in a UAV to see that, oh, this part of the map is scrambled. So it doesn't really make a huge difference to the gameplay, if at all, and you still get the points for it whenever you place this down. So I would absolutely recommend to have this as a field upgrade for any weapon you try to level. Then equipment wise, I'd take either the smoke or the prox alarm. Though the smoke, while you get smoke assists, I think this might actually replace the decoy spam. Easy to do in small maps, gives assist points, and you get them every single life. And with the decoys being something that they removed all XP from, all bonuses in that sense, well, this is probably the next best bet, I think. The prox alarm is pretty good, but it is something that doesn't persist even after you die. So like, if you spam these on hardcore face-off stakeout, you can throw two of them down, get some assists for it and everything like that, but once you die, they go away and you end up having to re-throw them down. Smokes, the effect will still linger even if you throw them and immediately die. So you can, in theory, have like 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 if you get spawn killed as much smokes on the playing field at a single time. So those, absolutely consider putting those into your classes on your field upgrades and your equipment. For your perks, absolutely I'd recommend the strategist perks, the all 3 green perks here, because it gives bonus score for objectives and equipment destroys, which means, again, as you're getting these assists and everything, if you're even by an objective or you're helping towards an objective, that'll give you even more bonus score. Additionally, I'd highly recommend Gearhead among others that allows you to faster charge that field upgrade. Again, the Scrambler, if you're going into hardcore, is something that you will absolutely get free XP for just because of the fact that not really many people are immediately going to recognize that it's in play. So to end up getting that faster is incredibly beneficial. So what I'll be doing, of course, while Gearhead is a strategist perk, I'll still be taking 3 additional ones. So I'll use Perk Greed and end up getting 4 strategist perks for that class that I'm running. Now, beyond that, going into games, selecting what mode and how to play, well, firstly, it comes down to hardcore versus core. The philosophy I have here for hardcore versus core is that you get more expected gunfights in hardcore and expected kills in hardcore as opposed to core. Obviously, a lot more deaths too, but it's something that with 1 bullet, 2 bullets sometimes being all it takes to kill, it helps you out tremendously in that sense. Also, face-off hardcore is much smaller maps, which means more engagements, which means more gunfights, which means more kills and assists. But you can also end up playing kill confirmed, domination, hardpoint, anything that has objective score tied to it. Again, either in core or hardcore. The main thing is you just want to make sure that you're getting as much score as possible, because then that will convert to weapon XP. So additionally, I'd say to streak if possible. If you're playing core and regular 6v6, it's a lot easier to go on streaks than hardcore face-off maps where you're just in tight, close personal space, where maybe, yeah, you get a kill chain or something like that, but you're probably not going to be getting a 30 kill streak or anything like that, or a 20 kill streak, or maybe even a 10 kill streak. But in larger 6v6 maps, it is a lot more possible to go on those longer streaks, where the higher you get, every 5 kills ends up giving extra bonus XP that will then work towards that weapon XP as well. Now, here's the thing. You can mix it all together and make your perfect combination here. In theory, my perfect scenario, what I would recommend and what I've found to be the fastest for ranking up my weapons: hardcore face-off, surfing for the map of stakeout, spamming smoke grenades, and getting your scramblers down while going on streaks. Hilariously, the scramblers on stakeout in particular take up about like 75% of the map coverage to begin with. So if you can get Gearhead to have that faster charge rate, you can have 2 on there at a single time. You're going to end up covering the entire area of the map, and you're going to be getting yourself set up to get so much XP and so much score very fast. Now, obviously, you can't have that every single match, but you can try to surf for it. Whether or not that's the most time-efficient way to do it rather than just playing out every hardcore face-off match, I think that's kind of up to you if you feel that's worth it or not. On average, at the end of all this multiplayer testing, doing that method of hardcore face-off and spamming smokes and the scrambler, as well as getting kills and assists and everything, I was getting around level 12 to 14 about every half hour of play. That metric starting from 1 on those weapons that I tested, just so it was like a more clean break and being able to see exactly what came out of that first half hour versus the scaling that can happen later on in the weapons progression track. That is with double XP active, just as a heads up. We're going to come back to that as a very big talking point here a little later on in the video, but I averaged around 12 to 14 levels here in about a half hour span. That is with changeover between matches. That is with different maps in play, not just lobby surfing for hardcore, face-off, domination, stakeout. So there are a few things that probably could have been done a little quicker, but it is in a perfect scenario, in a perfect world. But that is my average here. As for zombies jumping over, is it any easier? Because, well, obviously, you don't have to deal with skill-based matchmaking. You don't have to deal with sweating it out. You can just simply go and play against AI. Now, full transparency, if we're talking ways to farm zombies, kills, and XP, regular zombies is not really it right now. Pending no changes to XP yield and everything that comes out of just the regular standard mode for zombies, it's not all that great. But you can just about match, and depending on the match, depending on your luck with MP, maybe even exceed the XP yield you can end up getting for multiplayer by just simply playing zombies. Now, the biggest thing here is to start the Rampage Inducer at the start of your match on Liberty Falls. Wouldn't even really worry about Terminus. Liberty Falls is absolutely the best way to do this, I think. But the Rampage Inducer, what this does is that it speeds up the pace of play. The zombies are faster. You're going to clear through rounds faster. There's not as much a changeover between rounds, so you can just get right back into the action. Basically, you're always on training or farming zombies. It's not necessarily something that I'd recommend for every single weapon type, because it does still take a little bit of setup, where if you have a very weak weapon, in the first couple of rounds, you're probably going to die. You don't have Jug, you have 1 armor piece. So what I'd not recommend is things like snipers or melees. You're just going to get overwhelmed, and it's going to be insanely hard to get anything going here to be worthwhile. But if you do SMGs, rifles, shotguns, LMGs, basically anything that has a decent fire rate or decent damage output that doesn't have a slow rechamber speed or ADS speed, you can absolutely do here with this. You're gonna, again, have to try and build your way up in a sort of quick manner, getting some pack-a-punch and upgrading your weapon as you go along, but on average, doing this, just training zombies, not doing something, there is a vault method where you can end up kind of giving yourself a 5-second grace period anytime you end up getting overwhelmed, but just training zombies in any of the open areas of the map, I was on average getting around 15 to 16 levels. So yeah, I was actually getting a little bit more compared to the MP 30-minute time frame during my testing here with this. So it absolutely can be worthwhile, but it is a little bit stressful, and it's not necessarily for every single weapon type. Again, only recommended using that rage inducer to speed everything up. Otherwise, your XP yield per like minute, per 30 minute is just not going to be comparable at all. You can also apparently do the Liberty Falls Easter egg, where that will spawn a ton more zombies throughout that span of time, and you can do it relatively before or around round 15. You can complete it, so you can do it pretty early on, where that will spawn a ton more zombies by comparison to just the first 15 rounds. So that's something to consider as well. Now, of course, there is right now going around an invincibility glitch on Terminus, but I don't know that that's going to last too long, firstly, so I don't think it's really worth mentioning. Plus, the goal of zombies is to have them come to you, so if you're doing this solo and you're invincible, obviously that's not going to help you out tremendously. So anyways, zombies, not bad under the right circumstances. Now, of course, the biggest thing to consider with all of this, XP tokens. If you have double weapon XP tokens from either the Monster Energy, or actually I think it's only the Little Caesars is the one with the double weapon XP at the moment, or if you get something in the Battle Pass as of Season 1, that is something that will help out tremendously to expedite this process. Obviously, what I just mentioned on my average, you can split that by 2, and that's your regular XP rate. So it makes a tremendous difference in the efficiency at which you rank up your weapons. Now, as for my recommendations, here's the thing. I think it really depends on what you want to do and if you can get those sort of perfect scenarios. Like, as much of a non-answer as that is, it's unfortunately the answer. Checklist your variables on what you want to go into. Do you want to sweat it out? Do you want to play MP and work towards those mastery camos? Well, then multiplayer is the way to go. Do you want to lobby surf for a specific map, getting that map and mode combo and spam equipment for kills? Well, then multiplayer is your way to go. But do you just want to always be active and shooting at something, progressing during, again, that theoretical 30-minute span the entire time and not having any changeover between matches? Well, then zombies is the way to go. I definitely think that, like mentioned, you should do some of these in zombies, and others don't even consider touching in zombies. I just don't think it's worth it, and regular zombies, again, is too slow a pace to end up getting anything done for comparison. But it really comes down to which one you feel is best for you, and honestly, which camos you want. I'm going for Dark Matter firstly, so while zombies was a little bit more efficient for me as of my testing, I still think I'm probably going to do it in MP so I can work towards those camos at the same time and not necessarily split the timing between them. Trying 2 birds, 1 stone a little bit here, but anyways, that's what I have found. The biggest thing though, and the biggest takeaway as an overall message, it's still going to take time. Like, this isn't nearly as fast as other years prior, where I'm not even kidding, like I think it was Modern Warfare 3, maybe Modern Warfare 2, you could end up getting a weapon maxed in about an hour. That's not going to happen with this, unfortunately. But it is something that these tips can absolutely help speed up the process so that it doesn't take as long as it normally would. So that said, that's where we're going to wrap it up. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think of this here? Is there anything that you found maybe more efficient? Which one are you going to go? Multiplayer or zombies? Let me know down below. But if you guys enjoyed the video, do me a favor and drop a like on it. Of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 6. We still have so much up on deck you guys won't want to miss. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Modest Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.